screams echoing through the Washington Hilton ballroom, the frantic shouts of "hide under the table, run," the sheer unadulterated panic in the eyes of the Washington elite, the sound of glass breaking, and the chaotic scramble of the Secret Service. This is not a movie trailer. It is not a Pentagon simulation. You are watching the physical manifestation of an empire collapsing from the inside out, broadcast live to the entire planet. If you turn on the mainstream media networks right now, they are desperately trying to contain the narrative. They are treating this as a localized law enforcement failure. They are bringing on retired police chiefs to talk about perimeter security, metal detectors, and individual background checks. They are entirely missing the grand strategic picture. What you just witnessed is the definitive, undeniable proof that the unipolar world order has suffered a fatal, irreversible heart attack. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to look past the domestic political theater and analyze this terrifying assassination attempt through the cold, unforgiving lens of structural realism and global geopolitics. We are going to connect the dots between the shattered glass in Washington, D.C. and the burning waters of the Persian Gulf. We will discuss the latest, highly censored updates on the catastrophic war erupting between the United States, Israel, and Iran. And finally, I will give you my comprehensive, unvarnished predictive analysis on how this domestic decapitation attempt will trigger a massive acceleration of the global economic collapse. Sit down, turn off the propaganda, and listen to the brutal mathematics of the new multipolar reality. Chapter 1. The geopolitical signal of imperial rot. Let us begin by analyzing the attack itself, not as a domestic crime, but as a blinding geopolitical signal. The White House Correspondents Dinner is the ultimate symbol of the American establishment. It is the gathering of the political class, the media elite, and the military-industrial complex under one roof. The United States government spends nearly $1 trillion a year on its military and national security apparatus. It claims to possess the capability to project absolute dominant power into any corner of the globe. It claims the authority to blockade the Strait of Hormuz, to dictate the borders of Eastern Europe, and to police the South China Sea. And yet, this exact same government, with its infinite surveillance state and multi-billion-dollar security agencies, could not even secure a ballroom in its own capital city. A gunman breached the absolute highest echelon of American power, discharging a weapon mere feet away from the commander-in-chief and the cabinet. Do you understand the message this sends to the rest of the world? The grand strategists in Beijing, Moscow, and Tehran are watching this footage on a loop today. They are not looking at it with sympathy. They are looking at it with cold, calculating mathematical precision. They see an empire that is so deeply fractured, so entirely consumed by domestic hatred, institutional rot, and political polarization that it cannot even guarantee the physical survival of its own executive leadership. In the ruthless game theory of global hegemony, perceived weakness is blood in the water. The deterrence factor of the United States just dropped to absolute zero. If America cannot protect its own citadel, how can it possibly protect its allies in the Middle East or the Pacific? This attack is the ultimate proof of imperial overstretch. The empire has hollowed itself out to fight forever wars abroad, spending trillions of dollars attempting to control the borders of other nations, leaving its domestic core completely vulnerable, chaotic, and fundamentally broken. An empire that must tell its own leadership to hide under the table is an empire that can no longer dictate terms to the world. Chapter 2, the Middle East meat grinder and strategic paralysis. This domestic paralysis perfectly transitions into the terrifying, escalating reality of the war currently raging between the United States, Israel, and the Islamic Republic of Iran. While the American public is entirely distracted by the chaos and the shattered glass at the Correspondents' Dinner, the geopolitical map is bleeding out. Let us look at the latest updates from the front lines. The United States Fifth Fleet is still attempting to maintain its naval blockade in the Gulf of Oman, but it is rapidly turning into a catastrophic war of attrition. American guided missile destroyers are burning through their multi-million-dollar SM-6 interceptor stockpiles just to swat down cheap $20,000 Iranian suicide drones and fast attack gunboats. The Pentagon logisticians are in a state of absolute panic because the math is completely unsustainable. You cannot spend $4 million to destroy $20,000 of fiberglass and expect to win a war of attrition. The United States Treasury will go bankrupt before Iran runs out of drones. But the true escalation is happening on the ground in the Levant. Israel is currently trapped in the most dangerous multi-front war of survival in its history. They are bogged down in grueling house-to-house combat, facing an endless barrage of asymmetric rocket fire from Lebanon and Gaza that is slowly but surely depleting the Iron Dome system. Israel is desperate for the United States to intervene directly,